waiting for the green flag signal to take them off on to the formation lap. Field, of course, all running on the control compound, Michelin tyre, which is the control tyre for the championship. A tyre that always allows for some great performance and some great racing. They all run with the Dallara F312 chassis and the control engine and various other control components supplied by the championship promoters GT Sport. So a long pause on the grid as they now get the green flag signal to get underway. The run along towards the hairpin at the source. Quite as tight an entry as it once was, but all the same can get very congested in the first lap of the race. The road then falling steeply away downhill towards one of the most legendary sequences of corners in global motorsport, Eau Rouge into Radion. As the road compresses at the bottom of the hill, a quick change of direction, having to keep the right foot absolutely planted for that sprint uphill and on to the Kemmel Straight, the road rising all the while as they head towards Les Combes. This a great opportunity for slipstreaming, and you can see from the profile of the wings on the car that they have taken out as much downforce as possible to make the car slippery through the air. What it means, though, is that the drivers then have got to work through the corners, really having to rely on that balance between the aerodynamic and mechanical grip to keep that corner speed up. Out of Les Combes, they run downhill towards the Bruxelles hairpin. Long right-hand hairpin, long radius. You can see just how much the road falls away throughout the turn before the kick into the left-hander. Then on to the double left at Pouan. Overtaking at a premium through this part of the circuit. That's not to say it's impossible, but certainly trying to get close to your rival, force the mistake, because we've got that slippery paint and AstroTurf to the edge of Pouan. Once you put a wheel on that, you've got no option really but to run out wide, and then it's downhill into Fagnes. The chicane sequence, another chance to challenge for places, and then working through the core, Poule Frère and Stavelot before the blast back through Blanchimont and through to the end of the lap. What we've seen so far this year is that Felipe Drugovich has been bettered off the line on a couple of occasions. It's been hard to find fault in the Brazilian's performances thus far in 2018. But if one were to look at anything in particular, it's possibly just that he has been jumped one or two times into the first corner. There's a swarming pack behind looking to challenge. Guilherme Samaia and Callum Williams in particular on the fifth row of the grid. They'll be both looking to progress from there. The same for Empty Skull. At the front of the field, Marcus Siebert, Cameron Das, Yanis Fitcher will all fancy their chances of challenging for victory, maybe as well Matteo Siorio and Alex Carcosi. So it promises to be another very exciting race. Siorio navigates his royal blue Carlin motorsport car through the chicane, and then they will form up on the grid. The same for the Fortec driver Callum Williams. As Felipe Drugovich, he'll just have that empty track in front of him for that run down towards La Source for the first time. Onto the dirty side of the grid for Cameron Das and Yanis Fitcher. Lucas Dunnett in the second of the Drivex cars peels into position, as do Aldo Fastante and Christian Hahn towards the tail of the field. So now it is all eyes to the monitors for the teams in the pit boxes. It's all eyes to the gantry for the drivers on the track. Seconds away from the fifth race of the Euro Formula Open season as the lights are on. They're out. out and away we go. It's a jump start from Leonard Hugenboom further back, and Callum Williams has stalled on the grid, sadly. So the Fortec driver stranded, trying to get up to speed, as already into the first corner. Viscal's not made a brilliant start. The front of the pack are cleanly through. Now who is where as they plunge downhill? And it's Drugovic from Marcus Siebert, then Cameron Das, Yanis Fitcher in fourth position, Mateus Iorio in fifth as they climb out of Eau Rouge through Radion and onto the Kemmel Straight, and Siebert's got the run on Felipe Drugovic. This is going to be really tight as they sprint down towards Les Combes, and Siebert gets his nose in front. Cameron Das may also challenge Drugovic as they're almost three wide, squeezing Siebert as Das challenges the outside through Les Combes, and Cameron Das takes the lead. Siebert is second, Drugovic down to third, up to fourth has come Mateus Iorio as Karkozic runs wide down towards the Bruxelles hairpin for the first time, as Yanis Fitcher to the inside of Alex Karkozic. And Fitcher should squeeze past, he does, but now for the first time this year, really, Felipe Drugovic has got a task on his hands. Aldo Festante busy scrapping behind, as Cameron Das trying to break clear as they swoop into Pouon. Behind the fighting is as frantic as you'd expect. Michael Benyard and Festante go side by side. Christian Hahn running a little bit onto the AstroTurf on the way into Pouon. So now for Cameron Das, this a golden opportunity to challenge as Alex Karkozic takes a wayward trip. Oh, and he spins on to the track and wipes out teammate Yves Baltas as he rejoined on the exit of Fania. And that is a bizarre accident as Karkozic, it appeared as if he was about to rotate as he rejoined, and that is a nasty incident. Aldo Festante also caught up in that, and I'm sure we'll get another look at it. And yes, the safety car, unsurprisingly, is scrambled, bringing the race under control, which will be a real disappointment for Cameron Das, who was just beginning to build a bit of a buffer. And we saw Karkozic running wide into Fania, and then just as he was about to rejoin, the car seemed to kick sideways. Good news is that all three drivers are out of the cars. The bad news is those cars are pretty heavily damaged. And Yves Baltas is furious as he stalks away, and well, the Campos mechanics doing a very good job of maintaining something approximating poker faces, with two of their three cars out of the race in the same incident. So the field all gets bunched up. So it was Karkozic, Baltas and Festante who we lost. What a frenetic first lap as well, with Drugovic getting the jump off the line, being passed by both Siebert and Das as they went down towards Les Combes. Really brave driving from Cameron Das, the former American F4 champion, to swoop through and take the lead. Now he is going to have to manage the restart. It's also good news for Callum Williams, who stalled on the grid, has got going, and he'll be able to rejoin the tail of the train. Now here's another look at the start of the race. So away they got from the line. There you're in the background, Leonard Hugenboom jumping the start. Callum Williams being static on the grid as they all jostled position into La Source. The front of the field, it was fairly steady. A very near miss, actually. Michael Benyard gunning around Callum Williams. And Williams, unfortunately, as he tried to fire it up, lost the engine once more. And then this is the incident in the background. Oh, and that was as Karkozic rejoined, tangling with Yves Baltas. And we'll see, maybe we can get one more look at it as Campos team, Adrian Campos gesticulates, right-hand side of your picture. Really, really frustrating for the team. And it had been a little bit of a messy first lap for Karkozic. He'd taken what, I think, an excursion earlier on in the lap, and then at Fania, he ran wide and rejoining, interlocking wheels with Yves Baltas, and unfortunately it also left Aldo Festante with absolutely nowhere to go. A great, great pity. Absolutely no malice in it from what we could see. It was just one of those where everybody trying to gain as much ground as they can on the first lap of the race. It all gets a little bit too close for comfort. Now, hopefully, the delay isn't going to be too long behind the safety car. The challenge being, though, there's 3 cars, none of whom are going to be able to make anything like get away under their own steam. All going to need hoisting to places safety, so they have to slow themselves through Fania. Keep to the side of the road. Not unsurprisingly, Lens Hugenbooms started under investigation. There you see them, and that's going to be a little bit more than the work of a moment, one would suggest, to get those 3 cars retrieved to place of safety. Well, certainly judging from that front-on angle of the start, you would imagine that Belgium's most famous detective, Hercule Poirot, is not needed to conclude that investigation into the start. So all the while, the RP Motorsport team watch on. Their man, Felipe Drugovich, in 3rd place. He's going to have to get his elbows out to move on up through the field. Both Siebert and Das to overhaul. So we're going to have at least 1 more lap behind the safety car, but the damage to those cars over at Fania, it's a possibility that it might be 2 more laps behind the safety car. And if that's the case, we will be slipping into the territory of, there's the start that's under investigation. So we're slipping into the territory of the race reverting to its time limit. So another look at it, and well, from that angle, it's not quite as cut and dried from the front angle, is it? And talking fractions of a second. So that's Lens Hugenboom, who at the moment runs 7th on the track. It's Das who leads, Marcus Siebert 2nd, 3rd Felipe Drugovich, 4th Matthias Yorio, 5th Yanis Fitcher, 6th Guilherme Samaya, 7th Lens Hugenboom, 8th Michael Benyaya, 9th Christian Hahn, 10th Lucas Dunner, 11th Ben Fiscal, and 12th Callan Williams. Here's the race leader, Cameron Das. Das had, towards the end of that first lap, built up a fairly handy advantage. Right now, here is how it all unfolded. Watch the left of your picture. There is Carcosa going off. He's on the grass. He's keeping his foot in. Rejoins it. Just kicks the car slightly out of shape. And then the tangle. And a wild ride for Yves Baltas. Disappointment for Karkozic. So the race clock, by the way, we are approaching 9 minutes into the race already. And this is our 3rd lap, 2nd lap behind the safety car. There is the Campos Racing Team, Adrian Campos, on the right-hand side of your picture. Formula 1 racer, of course, with the Minardi team. As the field proceed behind the safety car, and Cameron Das, he's now going to have to pick his moment with which to pull the pin so that he and Marcus Siebert aren't vulnerable to challenge from Felipe Drugovich down the Kemmel Straight for the first lap of the restart. That is arguably the first exam question that needs to be answered. Thereafter, they need to settle themselves into a rhythm and go from there. So the safety car train heading towards Pouhon. As Alex Karkozic's car is recovered back into the pits. Hopefully, neither he nor Yves Baltas have sustained sufficient damage to rule them out of the running for the rest of the weekend, because One of the beauties of the Euro Formula Open Championship, if you've not seen it before, is that unlike some of the other single-seater categories at this level, each race has its own discrete qualifying session. So an incident on Saturday need not wipe out the weekend with regards to Sunday. So Carcosa and Baltas, they'll be able to get out there for qualifying tomorrow morning, push for the best result that they can. It's coming through Fagnes, and good news, the safety car is going to be in this lap as the cars have been recovered. It's just a little bit of gravel to be swept. So when we do go racing, there's going to be 24 minutes left on the clock. We have got 2 laps added to the race distance to compensate for the 2 that we've lost behind the safety car. The other cars involved in this, I imagine, will work their way back to the pits through the internal network of roads. As now it's the responsibility of Cameron Das to pace the field. The lights are out on the safety car. At what point does the American pull the pin? He's got Marcus Siebert and Felipe Drugovich lined up right behind him. Prior form at Spa suggests it's coming out of the second element of Blanchimont, where they sometimes go, but Das deciding not to. It's going to be on the exit of the bus stop chicane then. So this is going to be really tight, isn't it, as they head towards La Source once more. Das wiggling around, trying to just preserve the heat in the Michelin tyre. As we go racing once more then in Spa-Francorchamps, the train of cars accelerating out of the chicane, and Cameron Das leads the way. But Marcus Siebert is right with him, as is Felipe Drugovich, as they head towards La Source. This for the 4th time, but it's really the run out of La Source through Eau Rouge and the Kemmel Straight. There's a drive-through penalty for Leonard Hogenboom for a jump start. As plunging down towards Eau Rouge, and this leading group of cars, they really are close. Cars just grind against the floor of the circuit as Lucas Dunner pursues Christian Hahn, Ben Fiscal in that mix. Guilherme Samar up behind Janis Fitcher as well, as here come the leaders, and Drugovich the inside of Marcus Siebert, and now Cameron Das really having to fight for his position. He's squeezing Drugovich. Oh, that's a brilliant move from Felipe Drugovich. Can he pull it off? No, he can't, because Siebert leads, Das to second, Drugovich goes third, and is now under real threat from Mateus Iorio. Brilliant racing as they run downhill, and Cameron Das, he couldn't quite preserve that lead. And now the leading duo trying to break away from Drugovich in third, who's got the rest of the field lined up behind him in fourth, as Iorio makes a slight mistake coming out of Bruxelles. Car gets crossed up as he goes over the AstroTurf. That may cost him as they run downhill towards Pouon, because he's got Guilherme Samaya bobbing and weaving all over his tail. Then we've got Janis Fitcher, then there's Hogenboom, but he has to make a drive-through penalty. Michael Benyar and Lucas Dunner all part of that as well. Fitcher looks to challenge in towards Fagnes. Ben Fiscal also trying to make a little bit of ground as well. So at least the field, they're all safely through this first restarted lap. Aggressive stuff out on the track, as now Marcus Siebert trying to break away from Das and Drugovich. The question is what sort of pace Felipe Drugovich can run at once he gets into his rhythm. Qualifying this morning suggested there's more to come. There's the scrap behind Guilherme Samar and Janis Fitcher. As now Cameron Das gets into the toe behind Marcus Siebert as they head towards the chicane, and Siebert defends. Das is right with him, almost clipping wings as they accelerate out of the chicane. The sprint along towards La Source. This is potentially going to be a classic race as they head towards La Source. Das jinks to the inside, but it's going to be the run along towards Les Combes once more. Meanwhile, Callum Williams, Ben Fiscal and Christian Hahn are 3 wide towards the hairpin. Janis Fitcher in the thick of the action as well. Such brave stuff as Leonard Hogenboom looking for a move. Surely not on Janis Fitcher into Eau Rouge. That's a magnificent manoeuvre from Hogenboom. Incredibly committed as here come the race leaders out of Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, and it's Das who gets back into the lead. He moves immediately to the inside line. Drugovich has got the outside track. Siebert tries to edge out Drugovich as they turn through Les Combes, but Drugovich might get the move on Siebert, or will he? Marcus Siebert gives Drugovich racing room, but the Brazilian doesn't quite want it. So the four leaders, because Mateus Iorio is with them, run down towards the Bruxelles hairpin. We are just on the 5th of 15 laps, 20 minutes left on the race clock. This is now the opportunity for Cameron Dass to try and make his bid for freedom through this middle sector, where it's a little bit harder to follow the cars in front. Plunge downhill towards Pódio. The double left hand that will feed them on towards Fagnes, and this has been a good sequence of corners from Dass. Siebert going to be close enough to challenge as they come out of Stavelot towards Blanchimont. Felipe Drugovich still, though, in the mix. Here is another look at Janis Fitcher going elbow to elbow with Guilherme Samaya, and that was what teed up Leonard Hoogem. This is the move into Eau Rouge. Absolutely brilliant stuff from the Dutchman. But now here come the race leaders, blasting through the trees towards Blanchimont on the bus stop chicane. And Marcus Siebert, who's not near enough to Cameron Dass. The driver who's under threat, in fact, is Felipe Drugovich, who has got Mateus Iorio all over his tail. Drugovich just has to move across, go slightly off the line on the way into the chicane. Just keep Iorio at bay as they accelerate on to complete the lap. Now this is where Cameron Dass is going to just have to keep an eye on his mirrors, although Siebert isn't as close to Dass as Dass was to the Argentine a lap ago. We're on a bit of a train behind Michael Benyaya as they head out of the hairpin, and Hogenboom serving his drive-through penalty for the jump start. Another look at it, and yet went a little bit early. So out of Radion, down the Kemmel Straight, and this is the opportunity for Cameron Dass to try and build a decisive, at least for now, buffer over Marcus Siebert. They all close up on each other in the tow into Les Combes, but for the first time in the race, no changes of position. As Dass gets on the power as early as he dares through the chicane, the car just trying to understeer out wide on him. It gives the opportunity for Siebert to close up onto his tail, with the Iorio right behind Felipe Drugovich. This quartet then, a couple of seconds clear of Guilherme Samaya in 5th. Samaya buffer over Michael Benyaya in 6th. Then we've got the Drivex teammates, Lucas Dunner and Janis Fitcher doing battle. Fitcher at the moment just ahead of Dunner. Down through Pouon on towards Fagnes. Now this has been a good middle sector, I'd suggest, for Marcus Siebert, who is managing that gap to Cameron Dass quite nicely. In terms of the rookie battle, by the way, it's Michael Benyaya who leads from Lucas Dunner and Ben Fiscal. As Dass now accelerating out of Stavelot, trying to stretch the field. Felipe Drugovich likewise trying to ensure that he has got a buffer over Mateus Iorio. Into Blanchimont, and Dass setting the fastest lap of the race last time round, trying to maintain that buffer over Marcus Siebert as he comes through. Really pushing hard, they all are. They've got very limited downforce relative to some of the other races we've seen this year, just because of the high-speed nature of the circuit, so they're really having to rely on the mechanical grip that's available to them. Into the hairpin at La Source. Then we've got this scrap all forming up behind Benyaya, with Fitcher and Dunner, Callum Williams and Ben Fiscal part of that group as well. So they run downhill towards Eau Rouge. The leading quartet already climbing out. Now, what can this group do in the tow? Christian Hahn also in pursuit. Now, where is the challenge going to come from? It might be Felipe Drugovich and Marcus Siebert, and Siebert has to cover the inside line. Drugovich looks to the outside into Les Combes. That was speculative more than anything, I'd suggest, from Drugovich, but it gives Cameron Dass the opportunity to now maintain a little bit of a buffer at the front of the field. Drugovich immediately comes under pressure from Mateus Iorio. This is an opportunity for Iorio to maybe take a few points out of Felipe Drugovich's advantage at the top of the championship standings. Down into Pouon on the gaps between this leading quartet all ebbing and flowing. 15 minutes left on the race clock. On the 7th lap of the race, it's going to be touch and go whether we go to laps or time. Great battle forming up behind. Christian Hahn trying to just close himself up onto it. So again, the race leaders blast out of Stavelo. Mateusz Jorio could have a good run here, you know, on Felipe Drugovich. Jorio was that little bit closer to Drugovich than a couple of laps ago. We'll find out as they arrive into Blanchimont. Meanwhile, Lucas Dunner pursues Janus Fitcher, Ben Fiscal and Callum Williams. The last couple of points-paying positions as well. And yeah, Iorio right with Felipe Drugovich. And Drugovich, if Iorio can get a good run out of La Source here, could be under threat for that 3rd place. Meanwhile, Marcus Siebert is just 7/10 back from Cameron Dass, and again, might be poised to make the Americans sweat a bit down the Kemmel Straight. The fight behind arrives into La Source. Nobody showing their hand into the hairpin. The tactic is all about the run from here onwards. Maximum commitment from Drugovich and Jorio, but Marcus Siebert setting the fast lap of the race last time round. As Siebert is with Cameron Dass, he's in the tow behind him. How close he is, it's hard to say because the camera angle foreshortens, but he seems to be pretty close to me. Indeed, he is. Dass to the inside, and Siebert's going to go for it around the outside. Oh, they make contact, and Dass gets fired into the tyre wall. Disaster for Cameron Dass, as Marcus Siebert was determined to go for the move, but the Argentine has maybe damaged his nose cone. Indeed he has, because the front nose is semi-missing from that car, and so Marcus Siebert is ailing. Felipe Drugovich and Mateusz Jorio are looking for the opportunity to try and get past as Siebert runs wide as they head down towards Pouhon, but Marcus Siebert determined to fight for it. So's Felipe Drugovich. Drugovich goes past Siebert, so does Mateusz Jorio, and Siebert runs out wide through Pouhon and rejoins behind Guilherme Samar. But here's the fight for the lead as Drugovich and Jorio are wheel to wheel. And Mateusz Jorio, can he overhaul Felipe Drugovich? Here's a look at the incident. Siebert went for it, ran a little bit wide. It forced the car to understeer a bit. And as he ricocheted across, Cameron Dass elbowed off into the tyre wall. So unfortunate for the Carlin driver. And if you can lip read, our apologies for that, as now here is the fight behind, my goodness me, as Michael Ben-Yair, Janus Fitcher, Lucas Dunner, all fighting. There's a outside chance of a podium here, as they all close up behind the Moroccan, whilst trying to overhaul the ailing Siebert, as they all close up under braking into the chicane. This is now the fight for 4th position, as here is the battle for the lead of the race, with Felipe Drugovich just clear of Mateusz Jorio, and Guilherme Samar with all of that has been able to close onto their tail, as well as Ben-Yair and Fitcher go wheel to wheel. Michael Ben-Yair taking a very tight line through La Source. Still got several laps to run here. Absolutely thrilling stuff as the Campos mechanics get to work Marcus Siebert's nose cone. Janus Fitcher has a good run on Michael Ben-Yair, an incredibly good run on Michael Ben-Yair, with Dunner and Callum Williams all part of that as well. But here's the fight for the lead, and it's side by side between Felipe Drugovich and Mateusz Jorio. They arrive, and Jorio takes the lead around the outside of Felipe Drugovich, and that's been several laps in the making. And now Mateusz Jorio, his chance for maiden victory in the Euro Formula Open. It's his turn to try and break away from Felipe Drugovich. Guilherme Samar right with them as well, as they swing down through the Bruxelles hairpin into the left-hander on towards Pouhon. The fight for 4th place is now headed by Janus Fitcher from Ben-Yair, Dunner, and then Callum Williams, Ben Fiscal and Christian Hahn, all part of that scrap. Lennart Hogenboom currently completing the top 10. And Marcus Siebert back into the fray. Oh, and it's Callum Williams who has the problem this time. Puts a wheel on the AstroTurf, and he is going to rejoin just behind Christian Hahn. So Williams slips to 9th. Wherever you look, there is some frenetic racing underway. Now, Mateusz Iorio leading the way, 7/10 up on Felipe Drugovich as they came out of the second sector. Guilherme Samaia is third, Yanis Fichter in fourth, and in free air is now really romping clear of Michael Ben-Yaya. Lucas Dunner now trying to pick his way past the Moroccan. Drivex car draws alongside the RP Motorsport machine as they get on the brakes into the chicane. This completes the 9th lap of the race, and here are the race leaders: Mateusz Iorio, Felipe Drugovich and Guilherme Samaia. The three leaders, absolutely nothing between them as they turned into La Source. The same goes for the fight a little bit further back. But as the leaders come out of Eau Rouge, that is going to be extraordinarily close, as it is in the fight for 4th position and onwards. So here they come then, the race leader, and Mateusz Iorio this time has got Felipe Drugovich right alongside him, and Drugovich should be able to go through for the lead here. It looks like that's been completed nice and early. Indeed it has, so Drugovich regains the advantage. He's now back at the front of the field. Iorio in pursuit. We've got just shy of 9 minutes left on the race clock. We're on the 10th lap of the race. And now Mateusz Iorio just needs to stay with Felipe Drugovich. Guilherme Samaia is also the wild card in all this, in the nicest possible sense, in that Samaia is able to stay with this leading duo with what appears to be quite a level of ease, and could certainly bring himself into the mix as well. In terms of the rookie battle, that is Michael Ben-Yaya, who leads the rookie class from Lucas Dunner and Bent Fiscal. As Ben-Yaya has now moved back up ahead of Yanis Fichter into 4th position. Callum Williams and Christian Hahn busy disputing 8th and 9th place. Another look then at the pass, the lead. Felipe Drugovich was in the tow behind Iorio early on, and that was really smart driving from Mateusz Iorio. Knew that he was going to be overhauled and didn't do anything unduly desperate or risky. There's still several laps left in the race. There is still a chance here for Mateusz Iorio to come back and overhaul Felipe Drugovich, because as you can see in the tow, that Carlin car, very slippery, and able to get on terms with the RP Motorsport machine. Meanwhile, Lucas Dunner and Yanis Fichter very close, and Fichter has to go for the move. Oh, tangles with Michael Ben-Yaya, and around goes Ben-Yaya. And there was nothing really that Yanis Fichter could do. He committed so much speed into the chicane. I'm not sure that Michael Ben-Yaya anticipated how quickly the German was arriving on the scene. But Ben-Yaya should be back underway and up and running, but has now shuffled down into 9th position. Yanis Fichter doesn't appear to be carrying any ill effects of that coming together. In fact, is on the prowl to make the move on Bent Fiscal as they climb out of Radion on to the Kemmel Straight. Now, what about the race leaders? Well, no change. Felipe Drugovich able to withstand the pressure from Mateusz Iorio this time around. On to lap 11. Meanwhile, Fichter and Fiscal side by side, and in the background, Callum Williams and Christian Hahn side by side. Yanis Fichter has just about made the move on Bent Fiscal. Has he? Oh, desperately close as Fiscal looked to jump to the inside. And Yanis Fichter swept across, took the racing line. Forced Fiscal just to jump on the anchors somewhat. And this has been an incredibly lively race. Superb action. And now it's Lucas Dunner who is released in 4th position. He now leads the rookie class and is trying to break away from the battle that's ongoing behind him. Felipe Drugovich and Mateusz Iorio, front of the field, still fighting. Now here's another look, and Fichter locked a brake. He was just going a little bit too hot, and another look at it. He had no option. It was either that or just nudge the gearbox for Michael Ben-Yaya. And he tried to get out of the way. Ben-Yaya didn't quite anticipate where he was. Turned across, and they interlocked wheels and tagged each other. Not unsurprisingly, that incident is now under investigation. So here's the race leader, Felipe Drugovich. He's still got Mateusz Iorio trying to stay with him. but Drugovic has got a little bit of a buffer on this occasion as Viscal takes his turn to challenge Janis Fitcher as they head towards the chicane. Fitcher in fifth, though, covers the line from Ben Viscal. 4 laps to go, 5 minutes left on the race clock. So I think we are going to revert to time, just about. Indeed we do. Felipe Drugovic is just edging to that point where he might be able to shake Mateus Iorio from his toe at the very front of the field. No such chance at all for Janis Fitcher and Bent Viscal. They've now got Christian Hahn trying to latch himself onto their tail. There indeed is Hahn in the dark blue Drivex machine, as Viscal's got a good run on Janis Fitcher, and Viscal comes out to the bubble early, moves to the inside line. It's a drag race down the Kemmel Straight. Fitcher then tucks in behind the Dutch driver. Viscal makes the move stick, goes fifth. Lucas Dunner, his next target, in fourth, not too far ahead of him up the road with the safety car, and various coming together. Gaps haven't massively opened up through the field, really. Field swing downhill towards Pouan. The race leader Felipe Drugovic at the end of the Kemmel Straight, 8/10 clear of Mateus Iorio. Oh, and a problem for Callum Williams, who got out onto the AstroTurf again. The car tried to snap away from him. That was well held from the Australian, because for a moment that looked like it was destination tyre wall. But he held on to it, and he's actually not lost too much time either. Lightning reflexes from the Australian Formula 3 champion. As he picks up the pace again for the first time in the race. It looks like we're not going to have a sort out of some sort as they arrive into the chicane. Through Blanchimont. Felipe Drugovic's lead over Mateus Iorio out to just over a second now. So they start the penultimate lap of the race, and there are the race leaders. And Mateus Iorio now really running out of time to try and claim his maiden victory in the Euro Formula Open. For Felipe Drugovic, it has been a race where everything has happened around him, but he is still looking as if he's going to emerge as the race winner. And sometimes in a championship year, those are the sort of races that you need to fall in your favour. Drugovic, he just moves a little bit down the Kemmel Straight, trying to break the toe of Mateus Iorio, but Iorio only able to get to about 8/10 of a second adrift of Drugovic as they power their way out of Les Combes down towards the Bruxelles hairpin. Marcus Siebert, meanwhile, with his new nose cone, sets the fastest lap of the race. Okay, so what might have been in that instance after that coming together with Cameron Dass, and the Argentine was going for the lead. Third place for Guillaume Samar. That would be his first Euro Formula Open podium. And Samar just slipping adrift of the leading duo in the latter stages. Iorio not quite able to latch on to Felipe Drugovic, so barring disaster for either Brazilian, it's going to finish exactly as it did in Paul Ricard 5 weekends ago, with Felipe Drugovic taking the victory, Mateus Iorio following him through to second position. Now the battle to watch for is going to be for the top rookie, because Ben Viscal has been able to phenomenally rapidly close up onto terms with Lucas Dunner. They're only separated by a couple of tenths of a second as Drugovic heads towards the chicane for the penultimate time. His advantage over Mateus Iorio is going to be the best part of 2 seconds as they come through, and Iorio has possibly got nothing left in the locker, may have got through the best of his tyres, as now Felipe Drugovic starts the last lap of the race. Drugovic in pursuit, 7 kilometres away from his 4th victory of the season. Mateus Iorio follows him downhill towards Eau Rouge for the final time. Drugovic rides the curves, but pretty much inch perfect. Right foot firmly planted as they climb out over the crest at Radion on to the Kemmel Straight. Guillaume Samaia slipping back in third place. Drugovic not in the, or Iorio rather, not in the tow. It's the fight for fourth. We might want to try and pick up as they head down the Kemmel Straight. As Felipe Drugovic leads the way. And Drugovic is having one of those years, isn't he? Mateusz Iorio, who led briefly, but then a lap later overhauled by Drugovic, and thereafter Iorio couldn't keep trading lap and lap about with Felipe Drugovic. But in a race where some of his other championship rivals have faltered, this is going to go some way to consolidating second place in the standings for Mateusz Iorio. It's into the Corb Pool Frere for the final time. Felipe Drugovic and RP Motorsport, they have had some heart-stopping moments this afternoon here in Spa. But Felipe Drugovic keeping a very wise head on young shoulders, staying out of trouble, letting the race unfold around him, and now is just a couple of corners away from the checkered flag and his fourth victory of the season. Navigates out of Blanchimont for the final time. He's just got to get through the chicane without any drama. Gets on the brakes, down through the gears, picks up the throttle, accelerates through, the checker flag goes out, and it's a fourth victory of the year for Felipe Drugovic, who claims the win in a sensational race here in Spa. Second place going to Mateusz Iorio, and Guillaume Samaia completes the podium with in fourth place, and top rookie just Lucas Dunner from Benfica. Christian Hahn into sixth, Janis Fitcher seventh, Callum Williams in eighth, and Michael Benyai completing the rookie podium with ninth place finish. Leonard Hogenboom on his debut rounds out the top 10 after that drive-through penalty. Marcus Saber will be the last of the finishers in 11th position, but the Argentine also having the fastest lap of the race to his credit. Quite a sensational and dramatic race. A look at the final classification then. Victory in the end for Felipe Drugovic, just shy of 3 seconds clear of Mateusz Iorio. Guillaume Samaia makes it an all-Brazilian podium, and 2 cars there from RP Motorsport. Lucas Dunner, top rookie in fourth, head of Benfica, with Christian Hahn, a career best sixth, clear of Janis Fitcher. Callum Williams in the points for the first time this year in eighth. Michael Benyai in ninth from then Hogenboom. Marcus Siebert 11th, but case of what might have been for Cameron Dass after that coming together with Marcus Siebert and others we lost early on. Well, that will be one of the harder fought victories of Felipe Drugovic's career, because so much action going on around him. And 10-second penalty for Janis Fitcher. That was after coming together with Michael Benyai. As that is going to propel Fitcher down to 9th position. The RP Motorsport team, a chance for them to relive the moment of victory.
Amazing.
Handshakes between Iorio and Drugovic. We will hear in a few moments' time from our race winner. Also receives
Yeah, that was really difficult. Starting from qualifying. Qualifying was really tricky with all the slipstream and tows going on down the straight. So we had to get a good track position to to get a good qualifying, so I did, and yeah, really happy with that. So now in the race, we also kept calm, because we knew the race was going just to be fights and battles all around. And yes, could grab the first position in the middle of the race, and then from there on, the car was just getting better. And yeah, thanks to the team again, the car was brilliant. So yeah, really good.
Good result to make your position stronger in the championship.
Yeah, of course, couldn't be better. I think pole position and the win was they were amazing. Now we had to focus on tomorrow's race, and yeah, hope it will be well like this.
All the best. Enjoy the win.
At the lights, and then Hogenboom jumped the start as Felipe Drugovich led away as the field accelerated towards La Source for the first time. It's Drugovich who turned through clear of Siebert and Cameron Das. Everybody cleanly through, although Callum Williams strapped on the grid after stalling. But then, midway through the first lap, the coming together between Alex Karkozic and Yves Baltas, which also eliminated Aldo Festante, brought out the safety car. Disappointment for the Campos Racing team with two of their cars eliminated in a single instant. Thereafter, it got thrilling. Marcus Siebert able to jump Cameron Das as they turned through Les Combes on the first lap of the restarted race. The leading quartet trying to break free behind everybody else was in the thick of the action. One of the moves of the season, Leonard Hogenboom wheel-to-wheel with Janus Fitcher into Eau Rouge, and the Dutch driver able to come out in front. Fighting for lead, Marcus Siebert coming together with Cameron Das, and Das fired off into the tyre wall to the damage of Siebert's nose cone. Meanwhile, Janus Fitcher and Michael Benyard are coming together as well. At the front of the field, Felipe Drugovich and Mateus Iorio exchanged the lead on a couple of occasions, but eventually Drugovich was able to build a decisive advantage to come through and claim his fourth victory of the season, further building his lead at the top of the championship. Mateus Iorio, another podium finish, his third time as a runner-up this season, with Guilherme Samaia scoring his career first Euro Formula Open podium. Lucas Dunner, the top rookie. So in terms of the championship standings then, Felipe Drugovich 49 points clear of Mateus Iorio, Bent Fiscal in third, leaping ahead of Marcus Siebert. Guilherme Samaia now climbing to fifth after that non-score for Cameron Das. Some brilliant fighting all the way through the field, and the title fight arguably a little bit closer than the point situation is currently making it look. Lucas Dunner also, mention of him climbing up into 8th in the standings after a superb drive to 4th place. It's ready for the chance to appear on the Spa-Francorchamps rostrum, with in 3rd place Guilherme Samaia, runner-up Mateus Iorio, and for RP Motorsport and Brazil, Felipe Drugovich, winner of a frenetic race to open the Euro Formula Open weekend in Spa-Francorchamps.